Hey everyone, how you doing? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you the new Photoshop beta version. Now this is a phenomenal update. Stick around to the end because I'm going to show you how to download this. It's not your normal Photoshop, as you can see here. It is this one here, Adobe Photoshop Beta. It has some phenomenal features and some phenomenal updates. The main thing is Generative Fill, which I'm going to show you right now. The first thing you'll notice is that we've got this little tab here, which is really cool. We can move this around everywhere, and this gives us a lot of options. But the main thing I want you to think about is this here, this lasso tool. So let's get rid of this bike. So I'm just going to quickly draw around this bike, and I'm just using a mouse. I'm not even using a pen. I'm just going to go around it really roughly. There we go. Now, if we click on Generative Fill, and then just click generate, what's going to happen is that Adobe servers are now analyzing this image using artificial intelligence to take this bike out and then fill in the areas that are missing. So that has given us a really cool finish, and it gives us three options. So we can really think about how we want it to look. To be honest, the first one there is pretty good. We can click on generate again, and what it will do is generate three more features for us. Now at the moment this is free. This is part of the beta stage. Eventually Adobe are going to charge you for this, and you'll have tokens, coins, something along them lines where you will have to purchase them to use this feature. But it's really cool. I mean, it's not done a bad job. Some of this is a bit messy, but it's not bad. That is pretty acceptable. So we could then click on this again and just click, and it's going to use the artificial intelligence again just to fill this in. And again, it will give us three different options to choose from. Now, if you think about the speed of this, but also the accuracy, it's really impressive and really interesting. So there we go. That's given us a really nice finish. So we can select between the three and decide which one looks more realistic, which I think that one does. Now, if you look at that, that's taken all of 30 seconds to do, where if you wanted to take this out manually, then you'd be spending quite a long time doing that, having to use this area here to build that picture up. So it's not done a bad job. Let's move on then to something else. How else can we use this? The other feature that it's got is that you can generate artificial intelligent imagery using the Adobe servers. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use the rectangular marquee tool here, and I'm just going to draw a square here. Now on here it says Generative Fill. I'm going to click that, and now I'm going to type in old books and then hit generate. And what's going to happen is that it's going to generate these old books for me, but it's taking into account everything that's going on in this picture. So the colors, tones, light direction, textures, and it will give me something to play with. So that's the first image, and we've got a second and a third. Now sometimes it doesn't get it right, but to be fair, that looks pretty real to me, especially with that shadow, because it's following the same shadow there. So that looks real. So let's draw a square around there, and then Generative Fill. Let's just type in old street sign and then hit generate and see what happens. So this is really interesting, and if you're doing composite photography, obviously this is going to benefit you, but it's also a really good way of learning about perspective and scale and things that fit together and what work really well, and it's just phenomenal. So there we go. There's our street sign. So it's given us three options. Again, let's click generate. We can generate three more. We can do this as many times as we want until we're really happy with it. But it's using everything that's on the picture already and just showing us an end result. And they are look really good. Really good. I think probably that one looks the most realistic to me. So, and that one as well. So we could go with that and be happy And yep, great stuff. Let's just see what happens then if we use the lasso tool around this, and let's just let Photoshop do what it wants. So I'm not gonna put anything in there. I'm just gonna hit generate. What's it going to do? Is it going to take it away? Is it going to add something? It'd be really interesting to see. But it just shows you the power of AI and what we can do with it now. So okay, so it's added something. It's not really, it's not bad. It looks like it's added like a curve to the wall there. What's it done here? So that looks like yeah, an extra bit of wall. That's not very good. So let's hit generate again and let Photoshop look at it and give us another option. Hopefully it'll be a better than the first three, but I think the more you give in the description, the better the result you're going to get. Obviously I've just gone in and selected something, and now there we go. So a little bit more information's gone back and it can now come up with a better idea. So you can see that looks pretty cool. So we could have an old there we go. That looks quite fitting, doesn't it? So it's used the texture from here to create what I believe is an old heater, or we could have an old chair there, whatever we wanted. So in this image, I want to show you what's capable. The only limitation you've got really is your imagination. So you just need to think outside the box and just experiment and play with this. So I'm just going to follow some lines around here, and I'm going to click Generative Fill, and the description of this, I want something like an oasis waterhole. And then I'm just going to click generate, and I'm just going to let artificial intelligence come up with something. And you can see that I've just gone around using the lasso tool. I've not really done anything specific. It's just a really bad selection and just a random bunch of words. So just something really, really random. And let's just see what it does. So it's given us, okay, it's given us some of these like rock formations on the first one. The second one, that looks really interesting actually. We've got a bird there and a bit of wood, and this one here. So let's click on this one here. I quite like this one. And then let's just click generate again. So by clicking on the middle one, we're kind of informing Photoshop that actually that's our favorite. And it should take that into account and then generate 3 other images that are quite similar to this. So it hasn't done that. It's completely decided to go off scale. That one it has. That's quite interesting. I think that one's probably more realistic. I quite like that one, but I do like this. That we could definitely change the color. Let's generate again and just see what it does. So it's just taking all of these into account, and let's just see what it decided to do. So again, it's given us something quite random there. We've got a lot of wood. Okay, so it's kind of going off now. So let's go back then. So we need to make a decision, either that one or this one. I think probably this one's my favorite. So I'm going to stick with that. I really like that. I think that looks really interesting. So we can do lots of other different things with this. Lots of other different things. We can come down to the layer mask here. So we've got a layer mask. We can use the brush tool, and we could, if we wanted to, we could brush out anything we don't want. So I'm just going to push my opacity and flow back up. So we could just paint out that bit of rock there and maybe just bring back some of that surface. There we go. So we could do this as well, and we could also pretty much do what we want. We could scale this, we could add extra stuff to it. So I'm just basically brushing back in the areas that I want, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And you can see there, yeah, that looks pretty good now. Right, so now we've done that, let's add another element to this. Let's add something completely different. Now, we can really think about something creative. We could add maybe down here, we could add, say, let's just add some, let's add some bones. And click generate, see what that does. So let's have a look. Okay, not really that good. Let's type in old bones from a bird. So let's click generate. So what I've done there is just given it one prompt, so bones, and now I'm giving it more information about what I want, and just seeing if that then gives me exactly what I want, and does it look better. So these aren't that great. So let's try something else, and let's just try a dead bird bones and see what happens with that. So I think with this, the prompt, the more that you shift letters, words around, it is going to generate different imagery, different ideas. So yeah, we could go with, say, something like that. That looks pretty interesting. And then here, let's just add something like a warning sign. Click generate. See what it does. But you'll notice as well here, it's added the shadow in the right direction as well, because it's figured out the direction of light. So it's not giving us a long cascading shadow or anything like that. So these signs, I mean, the last one looks pretty good. Let's generate another one, but that looks pretty good. So I think what I would do is, in this prompt, is maybe put warning sign with a shadow and see what happens there. So it's given us three more. So warning sign with a shadow, and let's just generate that, see what it does. No, so it's not really giving me what I wanted, but that's fine. Let's just stick with this one. You remember that I used this here. I used a rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to try this with a lasso tool now, and just see what happens when I type in here a warning sign with a, let's just do it with a warning sign. Let's just see what happens. That does look okay, but it's not the best. And I'm just seeing if the lasso tool or the rectangular marquee tool change that. So again, this is something you can experiment with. See, that looks a little bit better. So using a different tool has really helped actually. So I think I'd probably go with that. So let's come down to the other layer here, and then let's just drag that into the trash can, and we can stick with that one. That looks pretty cool. So we can make changes to this. We can pretty much do all the normal stuff to it. We can move it around. We can play around with it and position it exactly where we want, as you normally would. So yeah, it's a lot of fun and quite scary really when we think about it, what we can actually do. So let's just add a cloud up here and hit generate, and what it will do is use the sky that's there, and it should generate a cloud that looks natural. So I'd imagine it will be using this area here as some of its main data points, and it should sit really, really well and look natural. There we go. So that's given us three options. So 1, 2, and 3. That probably looks the best. Again, we can always hit generate again to get another 3 and keep doing that until our heart's content. So it's really interesting. This is probably the biggest update that Adobe have done. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Have a play, see how you get on. So if you want to get this, if you want to download it, if you come to your Creative Cloud on your computer, so you should have it up here where it says home, you can just search in there. You can search for Photoshop and then beta. It should be in there. And when you open up your apps, you'll see it's here. You just click try and it will install, and it will ask you as well, when you open up normal Photoshop, it will say download Photoshop beta. Click on that and it will also take you there. So you should get that in the main prompt on Photoshop here, which is your normal Photoshop. This one looks like this. So it's the Photoshop beta, that's the PS with the blue and white checkered background there. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have fun. Bye-bye.